welcome to the RPG Goober live stream. Today we're just going to be working on, like I said, these knolls, getting a bit of the backlog for the pile of shame. But I hope that you all have been doing well. It's been quite a busy grouping of weeks. So I'll just set up this iPad here, and we're still doing our mountain stuff. Can't you wait a tad longer? Assuming that'll just be part of the chat. Okay. Holy moly. Top chat, live chat. There we are. Okay. Welcome all. Let's see, we got Placybus. How are you? Wonderful, wonderful job doing the DM's dirty work. In terms of knocking the living daylights out of people in Calwen. All right, so fun story. I just got 3 new brushes. They're intended dry brushes, which are great because now I don't need to use this janky piece of garbage. So thankfully with this brush, I'll probably be going towards more of a terrain only, or just slapping on a horrific undercoat. But finally I have new dry brushes, and so for those of you familiar with the mini painting hobby, that's a neat little upgrade. All right. It has been a long couple of months. The family has just invited the baby goob, the little baby goober, to the fold, and so fatherhood has been, it's been good. It's been really good. It's been surprising, the different types of, it's far more complicated. It's also far more simple than people make it out to be. But, so it's kind of paradoxical that way. How are you all? Let's see. The different kinds of poop you have to clean up. Agreed. Yeah. Thankfully right now it's still in the yogurt smelling phase. But yes, so the family is doing well. I changed jobs, which is part of the reason why I have been lax in really coming out with a bunch of content. I went from a musician, teaching music to pre-K through 8th, and then trying to get liturgical music gigs on the side, to engineering. And so I went into music in order to avoid math, and now the best opportunity I have is with loads of math. So funny ways in which the Lord works. Okay, so this is so far what I have for the knolls. I'm doing the slap chop method. Nathaniel. Oh, which school? Because I've transferred many times. Was this JP Catholic, the days in which shall not be named, or was this the University of Washington, or yeah, it's been I'm one of those students that the programs kept dropping as I was studying. So at university, I was getting my Bachelor's of Science in Communications Media with an emphasis on acting, and that did not pull through. Essentially, their programs were suffering. Then from there, music. So I went to the University of Washington to get my undergrad in vocal performance, which was great. And then COVID shut down the program. So I'm just wrapping it up in the University of Idaho. So let's see. I am going to make good on my promise and actually paint for the first time in a while. So the easiest thing to do would be to work out on the terrains, get some momentum going, and then switch over to the figures. Spiders are also pretty easy. I've done a few giant spiders over the past couple years. I am not planning on really cleaning up these models, just because these are game pieces for Mythic Battles Pantheon, and well, maybe there's some pretty decent mold lines, so I'll try and get those off. Uh, but with terrain, it's a pretty simple method, especially now with the new dry brushing tools. I'm going to slap these with some primer. This is actually a gloss primer. It's not a matte, which is kind of the normal usage. Then just hit it up with some gray and slowly dry brush the gray and then into the white. So, and then maybe what we can do from then on is use some speed paints, like say this Malignant Green, and just fill it out. Okay. Awesome. My chat keeps disappearing. There we are. But Nathaniel, which school? That would be wild to hear about. Let's see. Angela, laughing. Perfect. Praise the Mighty One. Great show. Are you dealing with trauma and autism? Right now, as far as I know, no. So yeah, the main trauma. If you mean in terms of transferring, yeah, I feel like everybody goes through the ringer, but not nothing too crazy. Yes, my chat is kind of like Twitter in the fact that it doesn't have any moderation. So if you go, too wild, I might have to rein it in, but that would just throw off the flow of the episode. So preferably try not to do that. Man, but what have you guys been up to? Anything new and exciting? Anything old and boring? Have I ever done Lord of the Rings? Yes, actually. I on my shelf, I have my first minis that I ever did. And they were Lord of the Rings minis. Horribly done, but, oh my gosh, here we are. Oh. I was the kid that always slobbered at the Mines of Moria box growing up. And when I finally purchased it as like a 12-year-old, I was like, this is going to be so much fun. And then I opened it up and I was like, oh, this actually is a lot of work. So as a kid, I got this box and I followed the hobby dude's instructions and bought this specific type of hobby paint, or spray on for primer. But I didn't know how to spray on primer. And so Gandalf is just like a glob of paint. There's zero definition, all of that beautiful Games Workshop. He's not even based. Gandalf's based, but he's not based enough, apparently. Aragorn, I tried some really janky stuff. I think these are covered in dust as well because they've been on my shelf before we got a glass container case. And yeah, woof. Except his, I managed to experiment a little more as an 11-year-old, 12-year-old. Legolas looks just awful. I think that's I painted his sleeve skin colored, so it looks like he just has a ring of fat right there, like a little baby's hand. So, and then this Hobbit is a nightmare Hobbit. So he's throwing a rock there. I managed to get that, but look at that horrible color scheme. Let's see. All right. Man, oh man. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Did you go by Nate, Nathaniel? When we went to school together? I'm just gonna apply the base coat on everything but the top. and then worry about that once this is dry. Let's see. For me, I primarily paint functionally. I don't often worry about stuff unless I need it for a game. But if it gets too crazy between all of the different jobs and stuff like that, I often just do theater of the mind. But do I have any DMs in the chat? Any folks that have focused on game mastering or dungeon mastering, depending on the type? Let's see. I wish that chat would just stay up. I have to keep tapping it. I'm just gonna cover my iPad and paint. Atlas. Okay. Yep. Yeah, we've talked about that before. How much is your regular group? Do you have like 6 or 7 folks, or are you able to have the golden mean of 3 devoted players for a high fantasy thing? I don't know. I think 3 to 4 is where it's just golden. You know, I've done like the critical role amount. In fact, some folks and I were looking to we're actually recording an episode tonight of a live stream, or not a live stream, of a TTRPG game set in Calwen, which is pretty fun. We were in Tech Week right before I left for a conference out in Delaware, but it was super entertaining. Yeah. We were getting right into the swing of things before I had to leave for 2 weeks. What are you painting? Right now I'm painting these scatter terrain that was bought from what it was called the Pandora's Box. And Pandora's Box was a Kickstarter exclusive, which I don't really buy into Kickstarters, but I usually get them secondhand through Noble Knights Games. In order to fill out my mini collections. And so for this particular game system, it was a Grecian battle board game called Mythic Battles Pantheon. Super fun game. Really, there's a lot of minis there. So like drafting, if you've ever played Heroescape, the beginning of a game usually begin with drafting, or at least that's how me and my mates used to play it. So the drafting takes the longest time for Mythic Battles Pantheon, just because the amount of various Grecian heroes, monsters, and gods you can pick, there's just a ton of them, because it was one of those massively bloated monolith games, Kickstarters. Yeah. So right now I'm just painting some pillars, starting with a surface primer. It's a gloss black. I don't have a matte black. I've never really needed a matte black. Well, actually, I guess I do. I have some rattle cans in the back, but with painting terrain, it's pretty simple. My thumbprints are going to be on these, but I'm going to be dry brushing them up, so it shouldn't stay on as a texture for too long. But yeah, what's cool about stuff like this, I'm not planning on making them look marbled, so I don't have to worry about dry brushing on too much white or figuring out a specific pattern on them. I'm just going to be starting with a black, dry brushing a gray, and then a final light highlight with the white, depending on where the stuff. Oh, Placyboost, yeah. No, I use these in that one game of ours. Placyboost and I are pretty good friends, which is part of the reason. And when he gave me the green light to use Placyboost of Panacea as a vampire for our story, I was like, this is awesome. This is perfect. And so what's been fun is he's also a great game designer. And so we've been working together on stat blocks for various things, creatures in Calwen, he has some fantastic subclasses that are being compiled. And so now I just need to get back into the habit of actually, putting in the hours and doing the art. Um, it'd be nice to grow Instagram again. Um, and I think the old account before we lost it due to their AI security measures got to 230,000, which was great. It would have been nice to kind of continue rolling with it, but ultimately I think that our community is better because it is smaller. So like I can actually um, take time to speak to Arminius and Atlas, you and Chadwick and all the people, Mero, those guys. So that's been a perk, is that especially since you've been in it for the long haul, these life changes with the baby and the job changes and stuff has made creating art much more all over the place. So just not having just that normal growth oriented schedule of content, um, having you guys just consistently come back, that's been awesome. Okay, so from here, I'm going to drink some coffee. I'm going to get some of the paint off of this. I'm actually not going to worry about painting the tops black. I'm just going to go right on with the gray. Sometimes when it comes to a release agent, they put they put a release agent into a mold so that when they inject the plastic into the mold, the pieces just come right out and they're able to get hundreds of thousands of these things printed in a little amount of time, or not printed but injected in a small amount of time. And so sometimes when you buy a mini from the store, it will have a bunch of mold release on it and you need to brush it out. My wife, the Mrs. Goob, she's been working on a green dragon. And yeah, it was kind of funny. I was just like, here's a toothbrush, and it's the painting toothbrush. And she was looking at me like, why do you need a toothbrush for painting?
I did.
It's like, yeah, dip the brush in the soapy water and just, scrub away. Yeah. So it's been fun. We've been sharing the hobby is when the baby's asleep. Yeah. How has the baby? Mrs. Goob just joined over here. So, Lady Goob.
Yes, good sir.
How do you think little Angus has been?
In what regard?
Just the baby goober. I mean, just in terms of lately.
Lately he's definitely been more fussy. He's going through that phase where he must have constant he must be constantly held or else the world falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
He must be constantly fed or else the world falls apart.
Yeah.
And he has FOMO.
Yeah. Our kid has more FOMO than me after a GW release. It's pretty funny. He is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, Atlas said make sure you don't drink your paint water.
I've done that. Yeah, I'll try not to. The good thing is Bella, she now kind of, or she put this in a very clear mug. So, yeah, one of the best investments, honestly, for a mini painter is, and this is really the only Citadel product that I actually enjoy, but it's their paint cup. And I dig it. It does everything you want a paint cup to do. I've had this one for about 5 or 6 years. I've never spilled it at all. And so, yeah. one of my hopes this year is so actually one thing I wanted to tell you guys, and feel free to join this challenge, is I'm planning on painting all of my backlog in 1 year. So that post on the Instagram account, that post is the marker, the year marker. And so by necessity, I have to get done with these pillars and with these knolls and these spiders today. Otherwise, I am SOL. It would just be far too much to do. So, yeah. And some of those models in there, like I said, they're from Mythic Battles Pantheon, and they're, just these huge, huge Grecian heroes, which will be great if I ever do a Greek campaign. I got this this D&D module called, oh gosh, what was it? Something of the Dragon Lords?
I can grab it and check.
Yeah, sure.
It's the one with the many Grecian archipelagios or whatever.
Yes, yeah. It was the something, Rise of the Dragon Lords, is that it?
Is it the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords?
Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, yeah. So with that one, it'll be crazy. Do any of you folks do any miniature painting competitions? I'd love to get better at highlighting and all that jazz, but right now I'm, like I said, I just kind of paint for necessity. Let me check. Chat.
Plastibus thinks that the Greek campaign looked sick.
That's good.
I think we should totally do it with them one of these days.
They had something in there which I kind of want to not copy and paste into Calwen, but add as kind of an option, is a focus on spearmen. I'd love to have some really great rules when it comes to spears. There's some character design that I've been doing when it comes to this group of giants, essentially. And they have these dog catching poles, and they're cannibalistic, and there's a tribe of them. They're called the Augites. And I was thinking, I gave them not crazy stats, but stuff that's very the worst part is just the weapon, because since it has a reach of 10 feet and it can ensnare you, if your party is equal to these people, they just have a really high chance of taking you prisoner. I wanted something that would feel like how people felt when they were captured by the Aztecs. It's like, wait a minute, these people aren't fighting to kill me now. They're fighting to eat me later, to sacrifice me later. And so
Plastibus says that he's working on a Spear Master subclass.
Good man.
Spearman Master subclass.
Yeah. It'll be fun to record tonight. And so Plastibus is one of our cast members. And we've been trying a few things. We've been kind of experimenting with a format for a TTRPG show. This is what we've come to figure out. We want to make it a half hour. We want to make our show a half hour long. I and a few other people have been not stressing it, but trying to make that feasible, so that when we record, we could record 3 episodes, right? And those 3 episodes would slowly begin to accrue, and then every time we record, say we got to the point where we were recording 2 or 3 times a week, that's 6 episodes of the show, which means a more consistent run of content. Because, man, the amount of work that has to go into content creation, it's almost like it is a full-time job, pretty much. And as a new father, it's it's a little more difficult to do that, especially with the career shift. I thought I'd have more time this summer in a lot of ways because since I was working a school job, it yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, I'll definitely have more time during the summer. But then my summer job turned into a full-time job, and then the career shift, and bada bing, bada boom, it just worked out differently than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all good things, but yes, definitely differently than I thought. Okay, time to try out this new brush.
Dun dun dun.
So something that I noticed was the, actually, do you know where my palette is?
Which one?
Just the, whichever one is not, I'll take a dry palette as opposed to the wet palette.
Translation for your for live.
Sure.
And then are you also looking for the other one?
Actually, this will kind of work.
Okay. I also have your small one in here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I'll take that one too. Thanks.
Oh,
You rock.
I tried.
Perfect.
Ouch.
You okay?
I pinched myself like an idiot. Do you need more coffee? Oh no, yeah, honey.
All right. Man, one thing I like about painting is just how zen it is. Like you really get into a zen mode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Oop. Whatever here. All right, so right here we're just building a little bit of depth to it. This is a little wet. Again, I'm just not really used to these brushes. I think after a while I will be to the point where I'll be more comfortable dry brushing them or dry brushing with them. But the main thing about dry brushing is that you're you can get a highlights without too much work. What? I feel like you are a serial killer. It's bone. Actually, wait a minute. I have a paint that says bone. There's sand golem. It's bone. And it even has a watermark.
Classy Boo said that'd be me actually.
Yeah, it's okay. We've talked about this because Plasty Boost, he does a lot of creative writing. He's a great writer, and when we search various like plot points, say there's a fight scene, or there's like an assassin, and we're like, okay, what is the best way for this person to assassinate somebody? Then we're just typing it into our computer. Like we're probably, I feel like not even just us, but most creative artists are on some type of watch list where it's like, what are they thinking? It's like, why is their search history all about the weight of a garret or something?
Why do they want to know how much blood someone loses with such and such type of wound?
Yeah. I have to like censor myself now when it comes to talking about those types of things, like in a creative writing setting. I'm like, well, just sometimes you have to search, how much it takes to get to the end of that Tootsie Pop. It's like, yeah. when there's like a scene of a beheading or something. Yeah, so it's a little unhinged, you know, but it's just for research purposes. One of the biggest helps for me in creative writing was taking this wonderful class at the University of Washington called Medieval Peoples. Gosh, I forget that professor's name, but he by far was my favorite. He just what? Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Bella and I we've been reading uh, Brandon Sanderson, and what's funny is that she's a huge Sarah J. Maas fan, and I'm a huge Brandon Sanderson fan. And apparently there are memes about those two types of people getting married because they're like both book hogs. So
Because it's kind of like either way you're setting yourself up into these multi-book series type obsessions.
I layered this way too thick. This is awful.
It's
Oh,
okay,
none of these
it's
pillars
okay.
are going to look the same. Yeah. Okay, so one thing that would two things would increase my painting setup that I'm looking at right now to get. One is it's like a paint mixer. It's about yay big, and you press a little paint down, and it just vibrates it super fast. Because after a while, your paints dry out. They need to get mixed and all that stuff, and it takes a long time to get to the consistency, and you constantly have to waste paint in order to get to the consistency as opposed to waiting X amount of seconds for it to mix correctly. So having a timed mixer would be cool. But the other thing would be getting to the point where I have a texture palette. With dry brushing, you're not actually waiting until your brush is dry. It does need to be wet, otherwise the paint won't come off the brush well. Shit. Pardon my French. Accidentally insulting all French goobers out there. So, yeah, when it comes to the those texture palettes, they can really save your butt because it doesn't remove the moisture from the brush, but it yeah. If anything, I feel less serial killer-ish and more like the Big Z from Surf's Up, where he just says, with the grain, with the grain, with the grain. Yeah, poor Bella, she was painting something the other day, and I was just like, oh yeah, so basically next you do this. And she's like, can I do it now? Can I do it now?
Can I paint my dragon now?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, here.
Here's your dragon wing back, Bella.
Yeah. Oh, can I do it now?
Can I paint my dragon now? I want to paint my dragon. See, Atlas asked, have you gotten the chance to look over the mountain chats? A lot has happened, LOL.
I'm okay, this is kind of funny, but I'm behind on my own world. It's like,
yeah.
I need to do that. I need to sit down and do that. It's been the thing that has been competing with me getting completely updated is me getting to the point where I can use AutoCAD and Civil 3D effectively in my job. And so I've been kind of going back and forth between that. I will do that soon, and I really am appreciative to all of you guys that are in the Discord that are giving me the rundown in the SparkNotes version, so that like in between, like on my 30-minute lunch, I can just like quickly figure out what's happened, and then rewrite certain things. Yeah, so that's been fun. So thank you for that. All that to say, thank you.
I think Possibus and I should do some recon.
Yeah.
Yes. So that way we can get a wiki page up for the craziness.
That would help. Okay, so one cool thing that we're planning on implementing is a wiki page, just so to limit the insanity for everybody, and so that I'm going to let several people have permissions in order to edit that, like maybe a fandom page type thing, and then bada bing bada boom, we'll get some timelines straightened out. Yeah, no, it's been fun. Some of you guys have been writing your own like not fan fiction, but full on subplots, and I'd like to incorporate those.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one thing that I keep dropping this. One thing that I am planning on doing, just so that I can be more regular with posts, is going back to those representational drawings. I felt like that was a strength of the old channel. I felt like that kind of helped people connect with our story more. And I don't know. So what do you guys think about that? Like going back to, kind of the more stick figure vibe, because I'd be able to whip those types of stories out in a far easier capacity. So like, one thing I want to do is get to the point where, during the day I have those set points to do those daily uploads, so that it's especially for subscribers, and thank you all who are subscribed. It's appreciated. I've been saving up the funds accrued to put towards other goober stuff, which has been nice. So yeah, thankfully that those startup funds have not been touched.
Mm-hmm. Are you trying to get paint on my table?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you? I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's broken.
Oh no. The table.
It's broken.
No, I would never deform the...
Deface my table?
Yeah. That too. Where did I put that? I swear I had paint in there. Oh.
The late nights are making you go crazy, Lawrence.
Yeah. Baby Goob is a singer like his dad and mom. So, yeah. Right now he is effectively like a screamo musician. And so there are some nights where it's just like pterodactyl screeches everywhere. Yeah. A few friends have been talking about making a goober related cooking show, which I think would be awesome. It'd be great to like bring some more folks' hobbies into the mix, and if cooking's your hobby and you want to try, creating some dishes for Kawen, that'd be so rad. That'd be really fun. Like one of our goobers, his username's escaping me at the moment, but it's
which one?
It's like thank you, I'm a troll, or anyway, he's a troll in our world, and one of the things that he's, like early on he would always say like, here friend, I made you some mushroom stew. And so you just hand mushroom stew to various people who are active in the chat. Like, don't worry, I got this. You got this. and now you got this. And then he'd hold up a thing of stew.
You have my stew.
Yep. So technically, mushroom stew is it's the national food of Calwen, just based off of that, which I told the guy, and he was very very proud. But he's yet to get a recipe, so I was thinking maybe we could have a stew off, figure out what exactly the recipe was, so that if we ever made a cookbook or something, kind of fun like that.
We can probably figure something out.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Belle's brothers are fantastic cooks. It's ridiculous.
Am I not a fantastic cook?
She is also a fantastic cook. It runs the family. Let's see. Pillar.
I thought it was a column.
I think it's both.
Is there like a technical difference between a column and a pillar?
I think a pillar is just one block where I don't know, where a column is stacks on top of it. I don't know. Gosh.
I ask the hard questions.
She does. Excuse me. Hi, Goob.
All pillars are columns, but not all columns are pillars.
That's, yes.
Okay, let's see. A pillar is any isolated vertical structure used in architecture or construction to serve an aesthetic or structural purpose in a building.
A column, however.
Wait, why do I have to pay for such information? This sucks.
Wait, what do you mean? There's a paywall to learn about pillars and columns?
Yes. With
What
this
site are you
website,
on?
study.com. Okay. Oh, here we go. A term pillar is used to refer to a functional support, while the term column is used to refer to a more decorative support. So these are columns.
But what is the bearing load of a pillar?
I'm not the engineer, you tell me.
I'm not the engineer either. I'm just a lowly draftsman. That's been the funny thing, is that doing these drawings has actually led me to do drawing for a living, but just not in the way necessarily I was thinking would happen. Like I was super excited about the how fast everything happened with RPG Goober. I was bouncing off the walls, and I was like, oh my gosh, like people like my stickmen. What? And then I was like, what if this is just somehow a living? What?
I'm just laughing at Placibus.
Okay.
He thought a pillar was a sword master from Demon Slayer.
I thought that was a Hashira.
Hashira.
Does that mean pillar?
My Japanese is rusty. I don't know.
I can say Bakayaru and Nani, and that's about it. And that's because I watched
Jojo.
One Piece. One Piece with the subs, like a good person.
I thought it was because of Jojo. Oh, he said Hashira as a pillar. They're synonymous.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, now I'm going to bother my drafting mates with that. I'm going to be like, the building needs a Hashira.
Hashira.
Like, listen, you weeb trash.
We're all weeb trash at this point.
I feel like Hollywood has made everybody weeb trash, to be frank. Just because, and I don't know, if you voice your opinions in the chat, but at this point, it seems like the only good stories come from Japan. Because, like, say with Henry Cavill, right? Here he was trying to make a Warhammer universe, and Amazon just totally shanked him in the back, saying, like, I'm sorry. Yeah, you don't have enough women, and if there's a person without any hands, it has to be played by somebody who doesn't have any hands. It's like, do you know how hard it is to find a bunch of disabled actors to play like people in the 41st millennium when acting doesn't need acting anymore?
Yeah. Personally, I'm getting tired of you girl bosses. I said, personally, I'm getting tired of seeing girl bosses.
Well, there's already that type in, like, there's the Sisters of Battle.
Yes.
Which they said were too religious. I'm like, what? Like, everybody in 40K, every human is too religious. Like, what do you think a space marine is? Oh, well.
Plastibus said, and actors can't act anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. But it makes me sad because Henry Cavill was just so... just the fact that he cares so much about these intellectual properties that so many people who like this kind of stuff care about. And then he was just, like, say with The Witcher. He was what made The Witcher. He was The Witcher. Mm-hmm. He was Mr. G of Rivera. So, he was The Witcher.
Atlas said, being a straight white actor, I don't know how much I'll be able to act in the future.
I pray that you do find some decent jobs. I'd suggest getting into voice acting. Yeah, I was associated with Seattle Talent for a few years, and I mean, the way, I don't know if any of you guys have received casting calls, but essentially the way you receive casting calls is depending on what kind of selection. Like, there's backstage.com or various stuff, and agents will also just send out mass emails to everybody in their database. But all of the casting calls for actors were, and this was in 2019 or so. It was like it was, there was just zero work. There'd be work for guys, but yeah, if you did fall into that category, you just didn't have work, just because it wasn't it was something that they were intentionally moving away from, and that sucked. That did suck. I was like, oh, there's no feasible way to do what I love. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Of course, it's like, yeah, it's just unfortunate. I didn't know that you were an actor, though, Atlas. That's pretty fun. What's your favorite? Are you more into stage or film? Where do you tend to go?
Go into Broadway. Not Broadway. Opera.
Let's see.
How's that?
Sheesh. I'm probably just going to have to dunk these in a black wash as well. Even at this point. What? Oh, were you just sniffing or laughing? I've been in a lot more stage just because, high school, but I'd like to do film. Yeah, no, that was where I learned that I really loved acting, was in high school. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of great opportunities in stage, and yeah, studying stage was just more fascinating to me. Thankfully, I didn't go immediately after high school into the conservatory that I wish to go into. I got the one of the highest scholarships for AMDA, and that was great. I thought that was going to be it. I was going to be in New York and just making my bread the way I wanted, not going through a 4-year program where I would take the classes that I didn't want to take, that kind of thing. I mean, what most high schoolers that are, uh, out of high school think. It's like, well, if I go to a 4-year college, then I'd have to take all these stupid, like the silly stuff. But the thing was, and I can't wait to tell Angus this. It's just like people will try to steal the shirt off your back when it comes to student loans. The offer that I received was great, but it didn't cover everything. It wasn't a full ride. And the expenses for a 2-year certificate would have been $100,000. And this is back in 2017. Would have been $100,000 to go to this conservatory. And at the end of 2 years, I'd have a certificate and some pretty decent formal training, maybe. I mean, I never experienced their classes. But the interest rate on my loans would be, what did they say? It was 10, no, it was 11%. So think about that. Every year, my loans would have grown $11,000, which is just
disgusting.
I mean, to tell that to an 18-year-old who, like, just, you don't have that same grasp on reality that you do after, being in the workforce for X amount of years. It's like, it's actually kind of hard to work up to a job that pays over $40,000. I mean, like, most people are with multiple jobs barely scrape that, and that wouldn't even be in the minimum wage category of most states. So there, here I was, just a totally, green thumb kid, not really thinking about money with, like, the extended adolescence of our culture. And yeah, they said, they basically handed me the paper to sign, and thank God I didn't, because if I had signed that, I would have, if I had signed that, COVID would have happened right when I graduated. There wouldn't have been any jobs. And so not only would I have to deal with the raise on my interest rate for coming out of school, but it would have been even more expensive. I would have had to work off like $13,000. And not had any job to take care of it. So thank you, Lord, that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
What you looking for?
I am looking for my tweezers. I forget where they are. To dip. So this right here, it is a game wash, and it's a dipping formula. And so ideally, you'd take your figure after putting its base coats on, its metallics, and then you just dip it. I'm doing that to the pillars just so, actually, you know what? These are white. I gotta think. I'll try one. And we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Could you get me some a paper towel?
Mm-hmm. A towel from the trees.
Man, I've been out of the painting game so long that I'm just dropping things left and right. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can also just blame it on the lack of sleep we've been getting for the past 4 months.
With the baby.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Huh. This this is one grimy pillar. Sheesh. But you okay? Sheesh.
Yeah, I just knocked something over.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm good at that. Did you know that, Lori? I'm good at being clumsy.
Yeah, that actually works all right. Huh. Okay. Into the dip. All right. And would you be so kind, Belle, to go back to the chat? For whatever reason, it's not showing me any.
I was just making myself some coffee so I can survive.
Oh. Then never mind.
I am back. Let's see. Placebo says, "Ugh, student dit."
Mm-hmm. That is an ugh.
Nightmare. Eleanor, I am going to butcher this last name. I apologize. Ganaria
Ganaria?
says insane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just the thing. Yep.
Yep.
I mean, the thing is, it's people will do that though, and it's like if you come from, you know, if your background, if you don't have a strong base of people in your background to really talk you out of something, especially like, I mean, heck, it's with a pen and paper, that would have been my circumstance probably for the rest of my life. It's such a monumental decision to give an 18-year-old who's just known, you know, high school and really only cared about high school crushes and random BS, you know, for like that was my that was what I invested in time in, not into actually figuring out how life worked afterwards. So.
Yes.
But that's most people, you know.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, what do you mean life is completely different than what they say it is? What do you mean life doesn't just completely end as soon as you get into college? You know,
What
it's
do
like,
you mean life isn't like a Disney movie?
yeah.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Yeah, these are some dirty pillars. That's okay.
Well, I mean, they are like broken. They're
Yeah,
supposed
I
to be
figure
broken.
if they're covered
Grimy.
in some green, maybe at the base or something.
Moss.
Yeah.
Lichen.
I do have some lichen paint.
You have lichen paint?
Yeah.
Ooh! That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't liken it.
Oh, okay. That was awful.
That is why you married me.
Mm-hmm.
Placebo said rubble pillars. Rubble.
Yeah.
Like with the B.
Maybe I could add some sand or something to the bottom of them.
And lichen.
Yep.
That's my favorite word now, is lichen.
Is it because you just made the pun?
No, it's actually, I've always enjoyed saying lichen.
Lichen is funny. So, okay, I was the type...
has just died from pun damage.
Yep. Roll a D100 and add 50. Could you get me another napkin? This one is mostly clean, but I need
that. It looks as black as my soul.
It's like what every girl says about coffee. How do you like coffee? I like it black as my soul.
So you want a glass of milk?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Bella, do you want a glass of milk?
Sure.
Yeah, actually, wait a minute. I found, as black as your soul. Blanco Calavera. Dead white.
Oh, that's just me. Let's see. Atlas Stone said, "Oh man, just rolling a D100 would kill Alar. He's a level 9, but he's multi-class so much he's squishy."
Yeah.
Come here, little squishy. My humor just mostly consists of quoting Disney movies that my siblings and I watched. I apologize to the audience.
Oh, Finding Nemo. Oh, I remember that in theaters.
You're old.
Going to Finding Nemo with my family on our dinosaur.
Platypus also said, "Come here, little squishy." Thank you, Platypus, someone who finally understands my humor.
As if Joe didn't know your humor.
Let's see. Atlas Platypus says, "Get stung."
There we are.
Cool.
All right, I'm happy with that.
That's squishy.
Right now, I'm just making sure that there isn't a. I dipped them, so like Achilles, I held the top, and so not all of it went into the wash. So right now, I'm just making sure that I'm wiping off all of the very abrasive parts in the wash, which are potentially sticking out. Okay, perfect.
To me, it looks...
Now we got some great scatter terrain.
Mm-hmm. To me, it looks like the mud flood happened to the pillars. I did.
Would you be so kind to maybe get me a little more paint water?
Do you want me to dump that out too?
That'd be lovely. Thank you.
Can do, will do.
You rock.
I know. Make sure it doesn't get hit by an arrow and you're good then. Squishies.
Okay, now actually onto some painting, which hopefully won't be as messy. Let's see. I already have some spiders. I've got 5 that are a little bit bigger than this. Same size base, just not as teeny. I'm thinking with these, it might be fun to do some summons. So instead of just making them spiders, I'm going to make them summon tokens, which means that they'll be a different shade of green. I might need to dry brush them up a little more white, and that will that'll help. So let's see. First thing will be picking out the right speed paint. Speed paint.
What were you trying to say?
Speed paint.
What did you say instead?
Speed paint.
No, you didn't.
That's what you think.
I have evidence.
Okay, well, good for you. So we're going to grab the right speed.
Did you just...
No, paint. And...
Why dare you?
We're going to put some speed paint medium in there.
Speed plate.
Sure. That's what I said. Oh my gosh. I'm spitting out my coffee.
You haven't taken a sip of your coffee in like the last 10 minutes, Lori.
I know. Yep.
It's cold.
Okay. Where is the... Is that it? There we are. Okay. Using the speed paint medium. We're going to move to plasmatic blue or something. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to do 2 drops of that. 2 drops of this. Actually, 3.
No, it's 3.
Okay.
Your math has not improved, beloved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I am sad to tell you this.
No worries. All right. And from there, just going to begin. So in a variety of different games, you can summon various various little fellows to kind of help you with your...
Atlas said speed plate and horse gloop.
Do you know the horse gloop reference? Oh.
I'm guessing it's from Kingdom Come Deliverance or whatever.
Yeah, I'd just be jumping in the horse guts. And be like, oh.
Horse gloopies.
This is some great horse gloop. Yeah. That's one thing I need to get back on is Kingdom Come. I don't know if you guys can hear the baby goob.
I'm just kind of giving him a minute to see if he'll fall back asleep.
Mm-hmm. Will he self-adjust?
Selling your wedding ring for pretzels. You did what?
Yeah. So one of the characters, Bianca, she was like Henry of I forget, Terabithia. Anyways, so she was what's his face's like lover early on in the story, and she gave him a wedding ring, and or was it my mother's wedding ring? I forget. But anyway, so I sold it for a pretzel.
How much was the ring worth?
It was worth maybe 2 pretzels.
But you only wanted 1 pretzel?
I only wanted 1 pretzel.
You are such a bad son. Atlas Stone said, "Hail the goober heir."
Yes. His cries shall echo. Yeah, no, he's been doing good.
Goober baby for Monarch.
That would be nice. I figure, even though we don't have any relationship to the Stuarts in Lithuania, if you guys ever want to become just true and solid Jacobites, yeah, we can put the little baby goob on the throne as opposed to the Windsors. But that'd be very down the road. The wee Bonnie goob.
Wee Bonnie goob.
The Bonnie Prince goob.
The wee laird. The wee bairn. I don't have a good Scottish accent.
Yeah.
I apologize, I am butchering it.
Were you trying to do a Scottish accent?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, you were really butchering that. Whoa.
I know, you don't have to tell me twice. And this is why I would not be a good actor.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because you don't have a good Scottish accent?
Or a good accent of any kind. I can pull off an American accent really well.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Did you know
Well,
that, Lori?
you're already ahead of most British people.
I know, right?
America's kind of, there's so many different accents.
I guess what they would call it in Jersey is it's a TV accent.
What do you mean?
That was what.
Sheesh, I keep dropping my models.
It's a TV accent.
Okay, there we are. We got 2 spiders of that color.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to do a purple spider.
Purple?
Yeah. Yep.
Yummy.
Now I know why all my paint is disappearing.
That's High Lord Blue. Bleh. Purple Alchemy?
That looks pink.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Then why does it say purple?
Maybe it's supposed to be mixed.
Uh-oh. Let's see, we don't want crusted sore.
Oh, maybe it is just perfectly purple. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. See, I'm really just creating a just one color on these, just because they're going to be summons, and that's the way I can slowly chip away at my backlog.
I am so looking forward to you being able to work on the Greek gods that we have.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna be epic sauce.
They are pretty cool. I can't wait to develop my painting to the point where it's just far more fluid. And you know who's been just knocking it out of the park on YouTube? It's this fellow, something of Eons. He's a 40K painter. Eons of Battle. Oh my gosh, Eons of Battle has been knocking it out of the park. Like, I've been following his show for a while, and like his paint jobs really, they're just kind of standard. They weren't like, you know, they weren't super showy, they weren't super impressive, but holy cow, just these past couple years, he has gotten so much better.
Atlas would like to know which gods we have.
Let's see. So we have Zeus, we have Athena, we have Apollo, we have
Hera,
Hecate,
Ares,
Aphrodite.
Let's see. He said like the main 12 pantheon, or like people like Thanatos and Nike and Zagreus.
We do have some.
I know we have one of the Titans.
Yes, we have Atlas.
Pan.
Well, we have Pan. We have.
I think we have the 12. And Apollo.
I don't think we have all 12 though.
Okay, so.
Yeah. Which
2.
one are we? We don't have is it Hephaestus?
Yes, Hephaestus. We don't have Hephaestus.
We don't have Hephaestus.
I'm looking right now. Which? Because we have one of the other sun gods.
Oh, we have Artemis.
Yes, we have Artemis. And we have Apollo. No, that's not Apollo. No, wait, we do have Apollo, but we also have one of the other sun gods. What's his face?
The one with the whip?
Yes.
Yeah.
And which one's the three-faced witch queen goddess again?
I think that's Hecate.
Is it right? No, that does not sound right. Because for some reason.
I forget. It was a huge huge game system.
Can I pull out Apollo?
Sure.
Show it to not Apollo. Atlas.
Yeah.
Show the goods.
So this right here was their Atlas miniature, which is just huge. He's got a bunch of crazy stuff on his back, and
Oh yes, we do have. I think we do
yeah,
have Persephone.
we do have Persephone. But yeah, their minis were just super top of the line, and so I wanted to use them for a variety of stuff. The miniature company is Monolith, and they had connection with Mythic Games as well. But yeah, it should be great. Now when I see this model, I think a giant. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Atlas. I'm thinking this would be a perfect figure for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Like imagine some kind of deformed giant that
Has been
might have been warped by
the powers of chaos.
yeah. Yeah. Bella's been reading Gotrek and Felix.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's been fun because I'm a huge Warhammer Fantasy roleplay head. We actually just got the LiveSTREAM expansion, which will be good. It'd be fun to do some TTRPG for Warhammer on this show, or on this YouTube channel. Just because that was the rule system that I really started with, and going to D&D it was fun. Like I enjoy the D20, but there's just something about the grimdark kind of setting that's so much more enjoyable. But for reference, here is a normal mini, and then there's Atlas. So yeah, he's a big boy. Okay. Perfect. So I got 2 spider summons for like a necromancer wizard, which I'll totally use, and then 2 spider summons for a like some kind of druid. Good stuff. And then these guys have come along well. Once I shoot them with some spray, some matte varnish, that'll tone them down a little bit again, and boom, got some good scatter terrain. Let's see, I guess the last thing would be the gnolls, figuring out a good paint scheme. Looks like there's a lot of metallics. We got some skin tones that we got to figure out. So, with this fellow, I got that blonde fur color, which is kind of strange. One thing maybe that would work would be a almost like an orange skin tone. I think these gnolls are reanimated hyenas, I'm pretty sure. So maybe a brown doggish thing, and I can stipple on some yellow dots or black dots or something. Yeah, but a lot of metallics. I've got some rust effects, which I'll be using on some of their weapons. Yeah, here's that guy. So these models came from a line that I love, Dungeons and Lasers. A lot of my backlog is Dungeons and Lasers stuff. I've got about like 150 miniatures just off of two purchases with them, which were maybe $50 or less. It was a crazy sale. But yeah.
Guess you didn't want to fall back asleep.
How's the little man?
Happier now that he's being held.
Oh, good. Hey, buddy. Hey, how are you? How are you? Yeah. One thing Belle and we agreed on, which I was happy about, is just to kind of keep the little baby offline. We love our subscribers and stuff, but there's just been so many horror stories of kiddos, with their picture and likeness being used for other stuff, and
we don't even have them on our personal social media.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, not even on our personal. Hey, maybe when he's older, but
he's able to say whether or not he wants to watch as well.
Yeah.
Hello.
I don't know. I'm excited to protect him from a lot of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's cool. It's wild. Yeah, having a little baby smile at you in like a way of like, you're their protector, which is, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you keep us awake all night.
It's a good thing you're cute.
He cried about, I want to say 6, he woke us up 6 or 8 times a few nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. He's probably going through another growth spurt.
Oh, probably.
But like when he started out, he was about this big, and now he's this big standing, and it's crazy.
He loves to stand.
Yeah.
Overachiever, that should be.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a Scottish accent.
No?
No.
What was that?
Bella accent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I think I'm going to start with some medals. What?
Atlas said, just give us your address and we'll meet him in person. No flaws in that plan.
It would be, yeah.
Not at
It'd be
all.
super fun to do like a community thing. I live in Idaho, and so I actually, one of the fellows that follows, he, you guys shared with me his account. He was that goblin. He was that goblin dude.
Abyssal Void said, just describe his beauty in detail. LOL.
He has one major cowlick. By the way, I gotta plug in, so hopefully.
It doesn't change it too much.
Yeah. Shoot.
You need help?
Sure. If you have
If I have
extension cord.
an extension cord.
Yeah.
I actually have one right next to me.
Oh. Here, how about you hold this and I'll set that up? Does that sound good? Good. Fine.
Haha.
All right.
So I will set that there.
Mind holding this?
Of course
Okay.
not.
Great. There we are.
Oh.
Orientation is device back.
Orient device back.
Let's see. Okay. So I guess the orientation for the show is this way. What?
Abyssal Voice said, oh gosh, I'm upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Just trying to figure out a good way to
Oh yeah, if we set that up, just
jerry rig it.
let's see.
This is such a bad idea. But
It's okay, we'll make it work. Do you want some help? Like,
I'm
oh wow.
I don't know if this is gonna work. Well folks, unfortunately my my iPad's kind of fritzing out and not able to be just kept standing. So I might have to cut this short, figure out and see if there's a way I can fix this, and then we'll restart the stream. But overall, just a thank you to those of you that have subscribed. Thanks for joining us today. And we're going to be working on some pretty fun stuff later this evening. So hopefully that goes like gangbusters, and we'll have some more content for you. So Awesome. Thank you all, and have a blessed day. All right. Peace.
Just cast levitate on.